Marketing Plan Development, prepared for and presented at the 2016 Square One Entrepreneurship Training Program. Square One is a program of the Center for Emerging Technologies. CET is an affiliate of the Cortex Innovation Community. Square One is funded in part by the Missouri Technology Corporation.
So just like the technical definition of a marketing plan, it's a comprehensive document, a blueprint that kind of outlines the company's advertising and marketing efforts over a set time frame. So in short, the way that I would say it, a marketing plan tells specific people what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and for how long. So what are you really saying in your marketing plan? How important is it? It's almost as important as your business plan. So of course you have that section in your business plan that says marketing, but when you think about it, the marketing analysis goes with it. When you break it down who your target segment, your customer is, that part goes with it as well. You're also thinking about that sales piece, but it's so important to know what are you communicating, because marketing is truly communication. It's the part of your business plan that's going to always change. Sometimes your name can change, but the biggest part of your business plan that changes is marketing, because it's going to change with the trends of time. It's going to change with what works and what doesn't work. So for an example, let's say jeans. So jeans, although jeans have been around for what, over 100 years, 100 plus years now, blue jeans, the style of them, people want to say, you know, for women, these are not your mom's jeans, you know, there are different cuts, different fits. They've added more elastic to them so they can have that fit, the jeggings. There are a lot of different trends that are in that staple of denim. So even though, I mean, Levi's has been around, they have, I don't know how many styles of jeans, I don't know how many numbers they have, but it started with one pair of jeans that evolved, right? So it's going to always continue to change. So I kind of put down like a couple top 3 reasons that it's important to have a clear marketing plan. For one, it gives you clarity to who your market is. 2, it helps you to craft marketing messages that will generate results, which is money and or other things. And 3, it provides focus and direction. So the first thing, it gives clarity to who your market is. It's easier to find clients if you know who they are. I'm going to take myself, for example. You're going to know a lot about me by the time we finish, because I'll use myself, all the mistakes I've made, you know, doing this. So you're going to learn a lot about that. So when I first started consulting, I didn't know a lot of consultants. So I was told that I'm good at this, I'm good at that. So hey, why not do everything, right? As a consultant, you cannot do everything. You will go crazy. So when I first started consulting, I said my background is in marketing, so I think I want to do marketing. But then, hey, I'm good with people. Hey, can you do HR? Yeah, I can do a little HR for you. You know, hey, you're pretty good on the computer. Can you build a website? Yeah, I'll build a website for you. And then so by the time I look around, I'm doing like 10 different services, when my focus was to really, I wanted to focus on marketing strategy, because that's really my baby. But because people said that I could do it and I was able to do it, and doing pretty well, I went ahead and was doing about 10 services. The next thing you know, I was executive director of somebody's nonprofit because I was good with people. And that got me way off from being a marketing consultant and a person that was really there to help people figure out how to communicate their message, which is where I got back to. So, and every product is not for everybody. I know that everybody in this room has great products, right? And you want everybody to go out and buy them, because everybody deserves your product, right? Right? You want everybody's money, right? But it doesn't work like that. It just doesn't. So give me an example. Give me some example of your products, any product-based businesses. Your bags. So, you know what? We all have primary and secondary customers. So I'm going to say your primary customer will be a woman, and maybe your secondary customer will be a man buying a bag for a woman. So if say all the bags were larger bags, and I might like the print, but maybe you don't have like a satchel or a clutch, because I don't like large purses. So I might like your purse. I could possibly think about it for buying it for someone else, but it's not for me. Would that make you sad?
No, because I have clutches.
I was waiting on that. Okay, good. So that's why it's good to have more products, right? Right. So who do you think is not your customer?
My customer?
Who do you think is not your customer?
I don't think of anybody as not my customer, but there might be people out there.
Has anybody identified someone that they know is probably not their customer?
Well, I would say some people who aren't your customer are people who don't want more of an ethnic or indigenous pattern. That's not their style, right? So,
say a goth girl would not go for it.
Right.
Yeah.
right.
Or she might be wanting to do the micro-philanthropic thing.
And donate.
$20
Yeah.
Helping
But that's not your customer.
helping a woman in another country. I tried.
Yeah, you did try. Good. So just looking down, like, and it sounds so elementary to say, like, everybody is not your customer, but so many, like I said, so many times people think that everyone can use their product, and it's just not so. And what it really comes down to is pointless marketing and wasted dollars and wasted time. Because if you're a startup, and I've been in startup phase, I've been in like past startup phase, and a lot of things you may or may not be funding out of your pocket, so you really don't have the money to just, do trial and error. So it's so important that you go right in and figure out who it is that you're trying to market to. So, and actually we used an example already, I'm ahead of myself, see? The next thing, it helps you craft marketing messages that will generate results. So I said money being the first thing because obviously whether you are a social enterprise or totally for profit, you need to make funds. Making money may not be your very number one if you're social enterprise driven, but in order to provide the service that you want to do, you have to have funds, period. So marketing is knowing about your product and services and what it can do to help the target market. It's really about understanding why someone is going to buy your product, and if it's really solving a problem for them, if it really is. Because at the end of the day, this world, especially technology, has connected us to so many people, and so we don't really have to just buy what's in the store. We don't have to buy what pops up on Facebook. Like, we can search and we can find maybe thousands or tens of thousands of people that actually have a product that we want. Give me another example, somebody else. Yes, okay, so who is your customer?
Everybody.
All of these people are hearing.
Right, so what are some specifics about your customers?
They like to indulge in sweets, comfort food.
Mm-hmm. What are some things that,
Convenience.
right. Yeah.
How you want me to keep on?
You got one more? Or were you done?
Comfort food, convenient, and I always say 3 C's, my customer service. So if you would like
Right. And so the convenience piece, I think, speaks to a lot of people, because for a person that's always on the go, I love like cakes and pies and things like that. But I'm the one that'll make a mess, and so by the time I get out the car, I might have like a mess on my shirt. So that makes sense for me, for someone that's on the go. Who's on the go a lot of times? Yeah, I eat in my car a lot. I'm trying to change, but it hasn't happened yet. So that would be a really big piece, because that would transcend just, even ages, gender, age, their convenience of being able to take your dessert with you. Somebody else, who else knows that they have a solution or they have a relief for a pain that their customer has?
We have a pacifier that's geared toward breastfeeding moms for babies.
Well, my baby is not breastfeeding anymore, but where were you when I needed a couple of, you know what? Okay.
So it's very specific.
Yeah.
It's not just a pacifier, but we have a target market.
Okay. Anybody else want to share? That they know that they are meeting a need, they know that their product is bringing some relief to a pain that a customer has?
Yeah, one of my products literally help relieve a pain. I make all natural body care products, and one of them is called Salvation, and it's like a topical ointment, but it also just is a good skin moisturizer, and it has essential oils in it that help relieve pain. At the same time, it can just be used for moisture.
Right, like you said, so it is actually a pain reliever. Okay, good. So it's good to know that you don't just have something that is so general. Like niches are very important. I mean, I think it's so important that everybody finds their niche, because in the world where you competing globally, it just kind of makes sense for you to just carve out your little piece, and so that you're not a consultant running around doing 10 different services, and then you just kind of turn it into a chameleon anytime somebody says that they want you to do something, which is what I used to do. I used to do like, let me see, what's the thing that was so far off from my goal? Oh, it was running a nonprofit. I told you I don't even know. I guess I couldn't say no. I did consulting from someone, and then, would you mind being my, oh, okay, I'll do it. And did that for 3 years. And then as I worked to do something else. Oops, sorry. Okay, reason number 3, provides focus and direction. So with tools to reach your customer, we have so many different ways: email, social media, blogging, direct mail, any kind of publicity, public relations. It's important to know what to say, how to say it, and to whom you are saying it. So give me an example, and I know Brand of St. Louis knows a lot of things about this. How important is it for you to, because I get her newsletter, so I know. So how important is it for you to say what you're going to say, and when you're sending out newsletters or anything, just anything that you're sending out? To be specific, to be very specific about what you want them to know.
I mean, it's really important to be, similar to the last presentation, like clear, concise, and compelling, especially when you're trying to highlight a lot of resources in a short amount of space. Because if not, you start to get, I guess when people are unclear, they might not buy or they might not click, right? And there's only a few people who are digging and like ask questions about, what the actual service is, and then, they come to me and ask questions. That's more of my time, that's effort loss. So, yeah.
Good. Because time truly is money. And it's so funny because I was going to give you an example here, but I started talking a little bit more about that. And so it's easy to get off track. It's easy when you're very passionate about what you're doing. And when I nailed it down to those things that I was so passionate about, I saw how I was able to get off track easily. Because I love sharing information with people. I love helping people. That's when I thought I wanted to be a doctor, but then I saw a cadaver and I said, no, I can do it. No. So, and I love helping those people who may not have access to things. So when I put those things together, I saw that how I was able to wander off and become an executive director of a nonprofit that was, that wasn't mine, that I didn't plan on doing it, because they were meeting a need that it hit close to my passion. And so it's easy for us to have a goal and then kind of get off track because it may be similar to the passion that we have, so you have to steer clear of that, or you'll lose a lot of time, which I lost 3 years running something else. So I'm gonna, after those 3 important steps, I'm gonna take you to 5 steps to creating a marketing plan. So I also have a handout. I don't know if it could be email. Okay, so it could be emailed to you too. Of course, there's always like the SBA layout, the long marketing plan, and that's fine. But I really love when you're able to get information, just kind of answer some questions to see if you're on the right track. So before you look at that sheet, I'm going to take you through 5 steps. So your situation. So a lot of times that's looked at as your situation analysis, just kind of seeing and stating who you are and what you're doing. So what does your company do? Describing your products and services, benefits to customers, and really doing a SWOT analysis. So this example that I'm going to give you right now is of the BizSpot. So the BizSpot is really a baby of mine. I had been in incubators before. I think they're like STO VentureWorks now, but it was the St. Louis Enterprise Zone. So I was in 2 of those a while ago when I worked for a beer company. I liked the space. I liked being able to interact with the businesses, and it was less formal than like executive suites. But then I saw that there still was a need for something else, and so it kind of put me in that space probably about 6, 7 years ago that I knew that I eventually wanted to have a space or a business community for people. So I did like a quick SWOT analysis. So if we were to do a quick SWOT analysis, so the Biz Spot, although I have a physical location, the purpose of this is to meet a need. So I have a very specific niche. My niche is for Black-owned businesses that have traditionally been left out of resources that may be available to other people who have access to capital, access to understanding what a pitch deck is, what an MVP, all kinds of the information that you guys are getting here. There's like such a larger community of people who have great business ideas but have no idea of the jargon that goes on. What is SWOT? Oh, you know what? Where is Daniela? Jargon, SWOT, right. So SWOT, a SWOT analysis, a SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So this is when you can kind of do like a little T account, like kind of with accounting. So you just made a little T and maybe put your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And this is a way that you would analyze your business to look at what strengths do you have currently? You know, what threats may be available? I mean, what things could possibly harm your business or slow you down? What opportunities have already presented themselves? And then, sorry, I did it out of order. Of course, and then your weaknesses. So, and weaknesses is not so much things that you can't change, but things that you just need to identify because they can later be turned into strengths. So you may use those weaknesses to turn into a niche or something. So when I just did a quick SWOT analysis of, I was just writing some things down because I didn't want to go in too much detail when I did a quick SWOT analysis of the Biz Spot. So being that I do have a niche. So my niche is actually a strength because currently in the St. Louis metropolitan area, there is not a group that is meeting a very specific need of like underserved African-American businesses that may be in different, be them in STEM or whatever, but it's just all about having a foundation and understanding and getting a lot of the tools that you guys are getting here. Weaknesses, there are co-working spaces, and so if you say that you have a business center or co-working space, people may think that it's all the same, you know, that it's always just like, you know, the next space, but it's very specific. But if you don't dig in, if you don't have a very specific message, like Chevelle said, then people may just lump you all together. So that's a potential weakness. Opportunities, it can also meet the need of other organizations. There are a lot of organizations that are looking for diverse groups or businesses that are well thought out, and that's a potential opportunity to partner, to make money, to whatever. And last, potential threat, because I fund most things out of my pocket, I have the, I can either run out of money, or, I mean, it's the first thing. I can run out of money before things are at where I want them to be, or someone can take the idea and run with it quicker because they have money. So that's just a quick analysis of that. So what I would want you to do, just really quickly, you can do it on your paper. Think about maybe 1 to 2 things in each of those blocks, and then I just want to get a few people that identify something in each of those categories. And we could just, you can raise your hands when you have them. And if you have questions, just let me know. Okay, does anybody want to share a strength that they?
Anybody we haven't heard from yet this evening who wants to share?
First mover.
Okay. So what type of company do you have, Sucker? What type of company do you have?
We do custom door fixings.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you say your strength is what?
First movers.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's always good. Okay. Anybody else want to share strength?
My product protects kids.
Yeah, I have those, so that appeals to me. So what is that the strength, or were you just describing? Okay.
A tackling sled for kids.
Okay.
And weakness is tackling sleds already exist. My opportunity and my niche is that this one is for home use. It's collapsible, so it's easy to transport and store. And the only threat I see is that maybe, like you said, somebody with money could possibly be considered.
That's always a threat depending on when and where you release your product, but that's why it's so good to ultimately get a patent. If it's new, that's good. When it's new technology, it's really good to work on that piece. Okay. Anybody else want to share a weakness that we can turn into a possible strength or opportunity?
Well, I'm actually representing my wife today. But an opportunity and a weakness, and you had mentioned it, sticking to one niche, especially when you're low on money. You're letting opportunities come up, well, hey, can you do this, can you do that? You're going to jump into money.
Yeah.
So how did you settle on marketing? You were passionate about a lot of things, and you were good at those things. So how did you settle on that niche?
I really love communicating. I really love speaking to people and then helping with that strategy, helping people to figure out what's important to them. And so I thought that with the marketing piece, the marketing strategy part of it was my best way to kind of go around about that. And then although I may sometimes, I'll help, and it'll run into business development because ultimately when you create a strategy, you're helping to develop the business. But I really thought that I could really help people who may not have worked with a consultant previously, just like, my parents have owned businesses, have never worked with a consultant before. I'm their consultant, so just really breaking it down for them and understanding how they communicate their business is so important. And so the passion for it is what really kind of kept me right at the marketing.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the passion.
I have a weakness that is also, it can be a strength, and it is a strength. So I'm going into an area that the research is very new on with my target group. And so when you're first in on something, you have to also convince your target group that it's going to benefit them, like the counterpart in the manufacturing industry, where it's been done, and it's been tested, but not so much for my target group, which is service providers in a certain size. The opportunity is that I'm going to be able to use a lot of things that have been developed through researchers and people who verified and said this is going to work. So reaching out to them and saying, I'm going to be using some of your research, some of your indices behind what I'm doing. So it's like, yeah, I'm new. This is new in a sense. It's kind of new. It's risky because it could take a long time before, especially when you're starting in an area like the Midwest. It could take a long time to do something that if I would move out to California, New York, or Seattle, would probably get picked up really, really fast. So it's a strength and a weakness, but one of the things that I focus on is, like you were saying, my passion and the time that I put into knowing what I'm doing and learning from so many people who've gone before me and that know way more about this than I know, and believing that it's going to work. So being the first in a minority and a woman, where there's, it's probably 0.07% of us in this entire industry in the world. So I think that's going to be really big for me. So I'm not really looking at short term. I'm looking at long term, like what I could do for people like myself, and also the ultimate goal is not just having a business that's viable, but creating jobs. And one of my biggest passions with it's like an indirect way to eliminate poverty. And I know with what I'm doing, it may not make sense, but if I go through this program and do everything right, it's going to make perfect sense of how sometimes it's like directly targeting a problem may not be the best solution sometimes. Sometimes it's like going through the back door. And that's kind of what I'm doing with sustainability.
So it sounded like the research that you're using is going to add credibility. So it's a different approach to it.
But it's not being tested as much because the service industry doesn't really have, they don't really have the motivation right now to really push forward with sustainability unless you just have an owner of a business that's very all about sustainability, or unless their clients are definitely demanding it. So the manufacturers, they're already doing it because compliance reasons and for many other reasons, they kind of have to. So this is going to be saying, you know, everybody can be green. Every business can reap the benefits of being sustainable in more ways than just economic ways. So it's proving that the economic benefits as well as it's not just doing good. Like it's all of that together. So it's like bringing it all together. So it's taking me a lot. It's going to take a lot more to get to where I'm going to be than the average business. Not average, and it's not as important, but you know, average business. But at the same time, I have come up with a viable product, a minimal viable product. That my boss helped me this week. So there is some hope that I can be making some money, but not doing it exactly the way that I wanted to do it when I first walked in.
Yeah, and it'll evolve. You have your beta, and it'll evolve. Yeah, that's good. So are you going to be working with like small businesses?
Small. But first, I was just opening it up to all service providers. But then after some more research I've done, I think I'm going, since a lot of the things that I want to do has already, like a lot of the footwork has been done. So I think I'm going to focus on just small to medium-sized businesses. And then maybe do some case studies on larger businesses that would be interested because they're kind of at that point. But I want to break into an area where there's really not anybody in this space. Yeah. And that's, so I'm going to use that weakness to my advantage.
And research is great. I love research. So that it saves a lot of time and money.
Do you want me to just go through the whole thing?
Yeah, you can go through the whole thing. It's fine.
I don't really know what you mean by opportunities, but my strengths are that I provide a need for women who have disability. I want to provide clothing for women who have disabilities.
Did I meet you with Lizette?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I just thought about that. Okay, yeah.
And my weakness is how to make the sale. Opportunities is something women need, and manufacturing is coming to the Midwest, so I'm starting to see that more than I did when I initially started. My threat is it's so easy to do. I mean, as soon as I bring out this prototype, I'm like, I can do that just as easy.
But the passion behind it. Like passion, you can't fake passion. People can create, I mean, McDonald's could come out with it because they have the money. But nobody really will go to them for it because we just want a hamburger from you, if that, you know. So, sorry. But, you know, so I think that passion behind it, personal stories, things like that, will sell it, will lend itself to investors and things like that. And so the opportunity piece, you actually had good opportunities. There's no one really doing that in the space on a larger level. Maybe they haven't really thought that it was a big enough problem. You know, I say that because I was just watching, I think it was QVC or HSN, one of those, and they have some orthopedic shoes. I can't think of the brand name, but they were kind of a little pricey, but they were good shoes. But they had them wide enough and with the arch and enough support and cushion, but they were fashionable. Because, you know, traditionally orthopedic shoes are ugly. You have some big chunky black shoes or big brown bottom, but they had little leopard boots. I said, oh shoot, I don't need orthopedic shoes, but those are cute. Had, you know, leopard little flats with more lift in them, booties and boots that, you know, align. I can't remember the name of the company, but that's meeting the need right there because you're still and they're for women. There were only women's shoes. You're still a woman, and you want something that looks nice, and you don't really, you don't really want to wear a big black ugly shoe that just, you know, with a clunky heel, well, no heel. Just you want to still feel, even though you want it to be functional, and you want to have some comfort. You still want some style too. So it's meeting that need, and that's definitely what your product is doing as well. Did anybody else want to share? Okay. So situation, just looking at who you are, what you're doing, what your company is doing, and outlining those things is really good for that.
So the question was, so one of the investors asked me to put together orders 5 forces instead of a SWAT. And when do you do, I mean, I saw it was being silly, but when do you do one over the other from your perspective? Like, I'm looking at, I saw one was a buy situation, the other one was buying competitors. That's how I thought of it, but then, I don't know.
I am not sure. Okay. But what I could do is find out, and I could get back with you. Okay. I'm so transparent. I'm not gonna sit here and try to make up something that sounds good. I will find out, and I will get back. What's your name?
Donish.
Okay. I'll find out and I'll get back to you. Okay. So looking at your ideal customer. So some of us are B2C, some of us are B2B. So you have to, so if you are B2C, looking at things like age, sex, family composition, earnings, and actually I put income too, earnings, geographic location, lifestyle. Those are some things that can separate, how you're targeting people, how they spend their money. You may look at people who traditionally may give more than others. So there's a lot of different ways you can break it down. If you, just looking back to, have you ever had a customer that you didn't think was your customer? You didn't really know? That's like the best aha moment because it really tells you like, oh, I left out a whole group. What was one of those times where someone that you did not think was your customer and ended up, being maybe even a repeat customer? Does anybody have a?
Older women, I really didn't think this through, but they like little persons.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was thinking, little crossbody for a little girl or a teenager or a young girl. But I never really related directly to an older woman. And I now find that a lot of much older women like smaller persons.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just kind of like that.
Yeah, probably for a lot of different reasons. So at that point, they don't have children. So like my purse is heavy. I know I probably got snacks. I probably got a toy in my purse. It's pretty big and heavy. So I like a nice sized purse. But if I know I'm not, going to be around my children, I get to actually have no purse or like a small clutch. But so then when they're older and grown, then I'm not thinking about having wipes and, everything else in my purse, so I can downsize. And then just, they're so heavy. So a lot of times, even if you start off with maybe a 5-pound purse, I think my purse probably weighs about 21 pounds or something now. And so, I can't really hold it on my shoulder, so you have the health reasons too. So that's good. Anybody else identify?
I did not think that health-conscious people would purchase the desserts. And because I started with the pint size, so it was too big for everyone, and they're like, well, if you go to a smaller size, then maybe you will purchase them.
Yeah.
So I end up, going to like the half pints or the minis, and they are repeat customers. Actually, they try, different flavors, and then we're branching off into like a sugar-free line and a gluten-free line.
Yeah.
So it still captured that audience, but I never thought when I thought of desserts that healthy people.
Portion control. Yep, so it gives them portion control.
Actually, my comment is actually for Chevelle. I tried, what's your name, Miss Chevelle? Oh, yes, no, Angela.
Oh, Angelique.
I tried Angelique's product, and I don't know or think it was necessarily marketed to people with health issues. But I tried her product, and I didn't think it was. I didn't think about it like that. But I took her sample home to my mom. And she has neuropathy. It was amazing.
Wow.
So I didn't think her product was actually, I mean, it's a beauty product, so I didn't think much of it as far as this is a need for my mother. But just trying it, I realized, oh my God, like everyone I know that has a medical issue, I want them to try her product.
So you took notes of that, Angelique? Right, yeah. You need a testimonial. You need yeah, definitely. So that's good. Right. Anybody else?
A customer that I wasn't expecting is gift givers. So people will buy my product and give it to people. Sometimes they do it because they purchase it and they're customers themselves. They purchase it for themselves and they decide, I want to also buy this for someone else. Or they initially buy it for someone else just because they can.
Yeah.
Because it's unique.
Definitely. What about any service-based businesses? Are there service-based businesses in here? No? Oh, okay. Okay. And then, so what about, I have some B2B businesses in here, right? Okay, so how do you identify your ideal customers? Of course, you want the ones with a lot of money. I get that. So outside of that, how do you identify?
Independent operators that own 10 or less retail stores that need a management solution.
Okay. That's concise. That's good. Anybody else? B2B?
So for me, it was initially, I thought it was going to be being so, I'm a head and neck surgery resident here, and I'm making a medical device. So I was thinking, who do I sell the medical device to? Obviously, as a surgeon, I'm very self-centric, so I thought, oh, of course, a surgeon. Surgeons have no say in this entire process. And so the way that I went about it was actually thanks to somebody at Scandalers kind of walked me through the whole process, but he said, go and find out where every decision is made. So personally walk through the process. And so follow a product from when it comes in-house to even before when the order is
Right.
all the way to when it's used. And that will be the best piece of learning you will get. And retailers have that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he specifically told me that. That was very helpful.
Yeah. I was.
Found out it was actually, there's somebody that sits there in a small cubicle at Barnes that makes multi-million dollar decisions.
That's.
And she honestly, if a surgeon sends an email, maybe she'll respond to it, but usually this decision makes completely on value-based pricing. Right?
Wow.
She's like a value-based pricing analysis working, that's all.
And that's so great. Well, I hope that all of you, that was really good information. Everybody should really concentrate on knowing the processes from who, the end user from the beginning to end. And ultimately, who is that decision maker, right? So that was definitely good information. And then next, looking at your goals. So SMART. So I did take time to write that one out. There are some people use a couple different words, but really looking at what do you want to achieve? Market share, dollar amount, exposure, investors. Be focused on certain outcomes in order to achieve them, because yes, you could achieve all of these outcomes, but you really need to be specific and kind of focused on what you're trying to do. So specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely goals are important. So I'll say, for instance, for myself, let's say the goal for end of 2016 is to have my space open to be in maybe one other city besides East St. Louis, and besides East St. Louis and St. Louis, have other programs going in one other major city, possibly Chicago or in North Carolina, Fayetteville, Charlotte, somewhere in there, and to have helped at least 30, this is 2016, sorry. To have helped at least 10 businesses by 2016 to understand that foundational information. So those are goals for me. And so they're very specific. And then I would have to mark out, if those are my goals, if those are your goals, how are you going to reach those goals? If you want to have 20% of the market share, if you want to have reached, by the end of this year, you want to have reached 20,000 in sales or whatever that is, put that goal and then make sure that you're listing how you're going to get there. So does anybody have some goals outlined that they know that they want to reach by the end of this year? You can just start with one. Funding. So how much funding?
60,000.
So have you identified some sources, potential sources?
And I've actually started, what I found out, what my mentors recommended is that they gave me some funding sources and talked to me about setting up a pilot. So I've already started looking for space for the pilot. I've already started contacting instructors for the pilot. I've already started putting together the curriculum for, my company is the OML project, and we provide technical training, certification, and employment pathways to underrepresented communities in the IT field. And so one of my goals by the end of the year is to have my funding in place, my 501(c)(3).
C3.
Yeah, I'll figure it out sooner or later. And then have the whole program laid out so I can kick off a 20-week pilot program with individuals to show that the training program that we put forth will reap the benefits of getting these individuals certified where they can walk into an entry-level IT position.
Okay, so get your 501c3. You've identified the funding sources. You are identifying the location.
Correct,
and you're working on curriculum.
correct.
So who are your partners in this?
In reference to?
Like just helping with curriculum? Are you a team of one?
Oh, okay, yeah, there's we have eight advisors that come from the educational and IT field. And all of us currently work in providing adult education or IT services
Okay.
to public and private industries.
Okay. So you know the points of lack. Okay, that's a lot. You can get, that's doable. It's a lot to get done, but it's definitely doable, especially at the end of the year. Say, hey, you got a couple $1,000s that you still want to get, have a write-off.
Yeah, we've identified, my mentors have identified organizations like Arch Grant or Kaufman. I have personal friends that own Kwame and Fuse, who also offered to donate to kick off the pilot program as well.
And then maybe even looking to some people who, because I've done some work in career pathways as well, so looking at people who are looking to hire, they have a lack, they have open positions. So like if you even looked at Career Builder or whatever the job space is, look to see who has all these open positions.
Yeah.
You see, and maybe there's a way to do a launch to as I call it, because this is a goal of mine, but that was passionate and I had to get away from it, a pre-launch to the launch code. Because there's still a piece that's missing. There's also there's a pre-launch code before people can get to something like launch code.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Anybody else? Okay. Anybody else want to share a goal or that they have that they want to reach before the end of this year? No? Okay.
Customers?
Right, good, that's a good,
Locations?
yeah, that's good, 20 customers, definitely. So are you, so you're for retail, is it retail stores or retail like the?
Focusing on convenience stores right now.
Okay,
So I didn't do that 20 locations using the system.
okay. So maybe the easiest way to go about that would possibly get some chains or some, that would,
Small chain, yeah. So we're actually speaking with 7-Eleven up in the West Chicago district, is 7-Eleven potentially next. Oh God, it's at the end of this month. About bringing it on, so.
Okay, good luck with that. There you go, because that would be huge. Yeah. Okay, step 4, strategies. So what marketing strategies are you going to use? There's so many things today that I can tell you from personal experience. I was starting to get a little overwhelmed. Like, I can't download another app. I'm ending with Instagram. I don't have Snapchat. I don't want to snap and chat. I can't. I love technology, but I'm tired of downloading new apps. I try to stay up on what's going on, but sometimes there's so much going on that you can get overwhelmed and you're like, what platform should I be on? I need to spend time doing this. I haven't really done that. So identify what works for you. Because now in my process, now since I have another child, I'm done now, but I'm done. But I was like, yeah, I gotta get some more streamlined processes. I have to duplicate myself without being able to actually clone myself. So now I'm gonna have to use some more automation, some things to do the things that I love to do, because I love, if I could help millions of people, like that would be my goal to really do that. But I obviously can't physically do that, in a certain amount of time. So I have to put some tools in place, but that's not my expertise. So that's why I have to wait and reach out to other people, see what message I want out there, and have other people to put that message out there, because I can't do it all. So that's where, freelancers and outsourcing things comes in. So you have advertising, you have public relations, you have direct marketing, cold calling, social media, blogging, speaking, which I love to do, email and loyalty programs. The list goes on and on and on and on. And how many people get overwhelmed sometimes when you're trying to put information out on platforms? I get overwhelmed. I would just much rather talk to people all day. So what I think the best thing for me is to really start doing videos, because I absolutely love to talk to people all day. I do. So that's the strength of mine.
You said the best thing
for me to do is videos, because I love to talk to people. And I think that, yes, I could do a call or something like that, but I think that to see me and to see how I kind of interact, to see someone's passion, it just kind of helps and takes away a little bit of the, technology can make some things less personal, but I think the video kind of brings that back, and you can actually see that people they care that you succeed. So think about what tools work for you. I'm on a lot of different platforms. Some I use more than others, but think about what works for you and stick to that until you're able to get people to help you do more. If you like emailing, send some personal emails. Then maybe look into some content management for others to get some messages out that are from you, that are written, the way that you would say it, and that don't seem so mechanical. So look into some things like that. If you like to type, maybe look at turning a lot of your Facebook posts into blogs. But marketing is so much about this. It's communication. That's exactly what it is. So making sure that whatever your message is, whether you're doing it or you have a team of people doing it, that they're communicating the very concise message that you want communicating. What are you going to use? What are your primary tools? What are your secondary tools? Who's going to use them? And ultimately, it depends on your budget, right? Because it would be great if you could maybe buy billboards. They're not as effective now, but you have the billboards, or if you could do direct marketing to the entire St. Louis metro area, that's a lot of money, but if you could do it, then maybe that may be effective for you, it may not be. But look at your budget is important. So budget is actually the last part of looking at no matter whether you're a startup, your existing business, look at putting a percentage of your income to marketing. Because you may have the best product ever, but if no one knows about it, it really does not matter. It doesn't matter. And in the time when there's so much free social media and very inexpensive social media marketing, if you have a very succinct message, you can really make a lot of money using, just with that, or with a free blog, and then maybe starting to advertise. There's a lot of different avenues that can actually help you to get your message out, whether you're on a pennies budget or maybe you have $50,000 you can put towards marketing right now. But there's still things you can do, and always, always do some marketing. Because right now, I knew a handful of people in here, but you know who I am now, because this is a part of marketing and communicating my message and my passion to you. So never, ever, ever stop marketing. Never stop communicating. So what the piece that you have, this is a one-page marketing plan. And it's just a way to kind of take some of the information that you have and to kind of plug it into the document. And like I said, of course, you're going to end up plugging more information into a longer document. And it may seem a little tedious, but just look at the elephant and take it like one bite at a time. That's really the only thing that you can do, because you're going to have a more comprehensive plan towards the end, but really looking at answering those questions that are on the page, and it'll really help you to narrow it down as to how to reach the goals that you set specifically for a specific time. You may take that sheet, and this may be your 3-month marketing plan, your 6-month marketing plan, your marketing plan for the year. And once you do that, it'll really change your life. I'm so serious. Because I used to do marketing plans and business plans, for people, and I still do them sometimes. But my business plan wasn't all written out. So that's why it was easier for me to kind of sway from what my goal was, because I was helping other people to do the same thing that I had not done. So this is me. I'm on all these platforms, and I do check them. So, yeah. So this is me. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. Yes. So anybody have any questions? If not, you can send me questions later.
So are you still operating? Working
Yes.
with people? Okay.
Yes. And because I said at the beginning, I didn't want to give a full background. I just wanted to get into it, but I am. So my focus is on, did you have a question?
No, you
okay. So my focus is really on urban businesses. I'm from East St. Louis, Illinois, and I just really have a passion for areas that are underserved in a couple different ways. Some areas who are stricken with poverty, not so much because they want it to be that way. I mean, I grew up there, come from a two-parent home, multiple degrees. My friends are too. My friends are lawyers and teachers and educators, and no one, administrators, and a lot of people think, oh, you're from East St. Louis? Yes, I am, and, you know, born and raised and educated there as well. But there's still other pockets of people that were not so, lucky, but they still have great ideas and great dreams. And so a friend of mine, my best friend, we actually just recently started a tech-based business called Creative Cultures Innovations. And what that deals with is looking at the unique issues and problems of African-American people and solutions, and helping people to create technological or innovative ideas out of that. So the Biz Spot is my baby because it focuses on the foundational things that may be missing, and then helping to get people to the level that they can come to programs like Square One and go to other places and integrate into the whole St. Louis ecosystem. So those are my passions. And I also work with youth entrepreneurs. So I'm working with, we're building a youth business right now. And so everything is around economic development, because I think if you teach people how to develop and create and support themselves, and they'll teach people when it's a whole process. So that's me. Yes.